Morning, week 7 dawns. It is Tuesday. Environment tiles are on my mind. Environment tiles are the grey blocks that currently kind of fill out the area of Tetramino, just not awfully well. The current spawner works on a completely different understanding of what the world is than what it has become, because it used to be something else. The player has some position. The world used to be infinite in every direction. So it's just obviously not anymore, because that's a stupid design. So what we have now is a spawner that looks at this band of space, and it has some Y upper limit and some Y lower limit, and then has some X width. So we define this box, this spawning box, in space, and then it has some distance ahead of the player. I don't know, X dist. It queries the grid manager for free locations within that spot, and then it tries to pop a platform down. When it pops a platform down, it places a single brick. It then grabs it would do this first, but whatever, quasi code. It grabs, am I horizontal or am I vertical? There's two different kinds of platforms. Platforms that go like this, and platforms that go like this. It grabs that and it goes, okay, cool, so let's say that we are horizontal. So in the case of a horizontal platform, or in any platform, we then have some range. How wide or tall am I? So I think this range at the moment is like 2 to 6. So let's say we roll a 4 in there. What that means is, so we've decided we're horizontal and our range is 4. So we're going to go, and we'll assume that these spots are free because we've queried for that ahead of time. We go like this, and we spawn 4 blocks. So that gives us our 4 and our horizontal, tick, tick. We then, because we're a horizontal platform, for each brick, we check in the Y up and down direction, and we go, is this spot free? And then I roll a dice, which is a little random fun for our platform. Rolls a dice and goes, should I spawn another one down? Or, if I don't, should I spawn another one up? And it kind of randomizes whether it goes up or down. If I do spawn this next one down, I then roll another dice for this one and go, should I roll another one down? And this lets us generate lots of different size platforms, lots of different shape platforms. The spawner at the moment is time-based, as in it has a spawn frequency where maybe every second, 2 seconds, 5 seconds, it tries to spawn a platform. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Slaps it in this area, does what we've just described. The issue with, one of the many issues with this is if the player stands still, this area now kind of, clutters up with platforms because the spawner's just living its best life. You still have nothing. You still have nothing in your play space, here and here, and then you have this dense chunk of platforms, and then very likely nothing after that. And it just isn't. Rhythmically, there are some issues with this, especially in a runner game. In my runner game, I'm wanting to reward the player moving forward, ideally with as much speed and competency as possible. What this spawner does means if you're moving really fast, you're getting less platforms and less options than somebody who might just be standing around twiddling their cubic thumbs, which is the opposite of our design intention. So it's kind of just how it is at the moment. It actually works, like it makes a playable game. The specific situation it creates that is not very fun is the player standing here on some platform and they can't see as far as they can look. They can't see anything. They don't see any options. They don't have anywhere to go. They're now just in open space and they want to be moving forward because maybe the death wall is like right here and it's closing in. Maybe this is late game. So, you know, the danger bar here is freaking pinging off its head. Looks better than that in the game. Bad. So, what might, in designing a new spawner, which is what I'm doing today, what might I want the situation to be? And I guess I was just having a little ponder about this. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll find out. I guess what I might want is, obviously we need to be able to place tetraminos. So generally it is good when this pathway is free because our blocks are going to spawn in about here and we want to be able to drop those down and bring them across into here because that's kind of a core pillar of what we're doing. So what I might want in this situation is I might want access to a platform here, and I might want access to a platform here. Both of those would be good options. I would feel good about having, okay, I can go up to that one or I can drop down to that one. There's our verticality thing, keeps this lane nice and clear. The issue with this might be if I do this play and I'm placing my blocks where I might want to, and then I move over here. If I had some spawner giving me this certainty of this situation, and we have it again here, we have the platform here and here, we kind of see a problem emerge pretty quickly where we can now just bullet along this single line and kind of ignore stuff above, stuff below, and just build, and just build a single highway. There's nothing to incentivize that up and down exploration in this spawner configuration. Because that's what this actually does quite competently, is that you're actually looking for a platformer. When you've got nothing down here, and then you happen to have something up above, you take it because you're just, whoa, that's where the platform is. I've got to go there now, and you're kind of like looking for the next opportunity. If I make something that's too uniformly kind of presenting this same maybe idealistic positioning of platforms repeatedly, I think the rhythm of this is maybe not good and doesn't work. So I think we need to retain some amount of the randomness of this because randomness is just good, especially in like a run-based situation, because we want runs and consecutive runs to be somehow unique. So I think I want to retain some randomness. So maybe what I'm thinking at the moment is kind of like a little Rainbow Road situation. I don't know why it's called that. Where the spawner will have some minimum distance ahead of the player, probably based on their sightlines, honestly. So if this is the player's sightlines, this is the camera. This is the camera view. I think the spawner will be operating just off of camera. We have some hypothetical roof here and some floor there, like the upper and lower bounds of the play space. And then my intention is to have the spawner working in these stacks where it knows the X lower and upper of this stack, and it's going to use some algorithm to fill this stack with playable pieces. The player moves such that their sightline gets to maybe here, and then we'll process the next stack. So now what I have to do is, if I'm able to build something that can make fun configurations of tiles in a single stack, randomly generating those in. If the spawner has no knowledge of what a previous stack has done, I may just be able to leave that up to the RNG to kind of sort out that organic self-building world feeling that I like from the old spawner. Just by nature of, you know, this stack is unaware, stack 1 is unaware of what stack 2 did, and vice versa. They'll fill each other out or fill themselves out, and then when placed next to each other, it'll just look like this random higgledy-piggledy of platforms. I can then have, as we go along the stacks, this is the other component of this spawner that I'm pretty keen on. As we travel through the world, the platforms at the start in an early game stack might be, the opposite of that, might be quite large, with not much of a gap between them. And then the idea is, as the game progresses, platforms would be smaller and smaller and smaller. So maybe this stack is just like this, more sparse and smaller, to make the space a little bit more complex to navigate as a run goes on. So this would be at the 0 meter mark, and this might be at 800 or so. I don't know, something in that space. So that's what I'm playing with today. It's going to be a pretty big rebuild, but should help us to lock in a little bit better what the play is and what the world is in this new regime with a floor and a roof, which is obviously what has kicked this all off. It's quite a drastic change in our play space bounds. So let's do it.